all the stakeholders are very well represented in the definition. So let's take a look one by one. Competitive players play one another as individuals or as teams. There are tournament organizers that manage tournaments. And in some cases, there are publishers who run professionally run leagues like the Call of Duty League or the Overwatch League. Then you have video gaming titles which are published by publishers, and in turn they are kind of worked upon by developers and creators who actually produce these games. And then depending on the nature of the format, it's either played on a personal computer, a console, or a mobile. And the last is that as a spectator sport, the whole experience is a very communal one. Everybody comes together and watches. You guys saw that Dota 2 video where the fans were all like kind of reeling in from the whole excitement of their choice of team being able to win the tournament. So it's a very communal experience, and it's usually live streamed. In most cases, it's live streamed, and in certain cases, you will also watch it on OTT platforms. You can watch it on Hotstar, Sony Live, or Voot, or GeoTV. And then obviously there are more and more tournament platforms, and where billions of views are generated each day. One of the things that I want to kind of highlight in this slide is that the esports players have dream jobs, but publishers are considered gods. Okay, they're the ones who call all the shots. They're the one who earn like billions of dollars of rupees every year. They employ thousands of artists, marketers, coders, and they own their video game as well as their esport end to end. So they own both these parts of the whole ecosystem. And they not only decide what happens in the video game, they also decide who plays the game, where it is played, where is it broadcasted. So they kind of really control the game in its entirety. To give you like another example so that you better understand this, imagine if the International Cricket Council owned cricket in the same way that Riot Games owns League of Legends. Okay. So if me and Aryan and Lucky and Raghav want to play a game, then we have to go to ICC and we have to rent the stadium from them. If we want to buy a bat, then again we have to go to the ICC. If you want to buy some equipment of cricket, then again we have to go to them. And if it's too expensive, then we really can't do anything. We're at the mercy of the ICC, and that's the kind of control that a game publisher exerts on its game title. Then to kind of visually understand how this whole thing works, on the left you have the team. These are esports teams that play professional esports competitions. They participate in leagues as well as in just tournaments. The interesting thing is that these teams, their main goal is to be able to win as much and get more and more prize money. But they also have certain other kind of players, which I talked about earlier. They're half athletes and half influencers. So these guys actually are people who are content creators or streamers, and they directly engage with fans, and fans in turn give them donations or they subscribe to their YouTube channel. That's the kind of kind of close contact that players have with esports fans. And then depending on the contest, it is broadcasted on either a live streaming platform like YouTube or like a OTT like Hotstar. And then there are event organizers, which are third-party event organizers, as well as publishers. So one of the big questions that I get asked all the time is, how do I become an esports player? What is really the life cycle of an esports player? The journey of becoming an esports player is very similar to that of becoming like any other sports player. The only difference is that your journey starts in the back of your bedroom and not on a football field or a cricket field. What happens is every video game title has ladder systems and ranking systems, and you start at the very bottom of those ranking systems. You work your way up, you compete, you train, you work very hard, and you start, entering more and more tournaments. As you keep getting better, you you start to become uh, part of the coveted 0.01% of the global player base. If that happens, then professional esports teams start to recruit you. The other way of becoming a professional esports player is you can actually team up with your friends or family or people that you've met online and start entering amateur and grassroots tournaments. You enter these tournaments, you start to win prize money, and as you keep getting better, then you keep entering more tournaments. And in fact, this is how some of the early esports players, they actually lived like this. When the systems weren't very developed, they would actually thrive on prize money, and they were very self-made professionals. And then once you actually do get recruited by a pro team, they will give you a hefty salary. For example, the Overwatch League salary, average salary is $50,000 for a 6 month, for a 20-25 week calendar in a year. And in lieu of that salary, then you play for them in tournaments online and offline. Online, you play to so many millions of people watching, and offline, you play to people that are watching in a stadium. The other good thing is, you can also start at a very young age. So, you can start at the age of 13 or 14, and you can go all the way up to the age of 25. Unfortunately, 25 is the average age of retirement for an esports player. What happens by 25 is that your reaction time starts to slow down, your cognitive abilities start to decline, and most players don't make it beyond 25 to an age of 30. But the good news is that you can actually still continue to play. It doesn't mean that your professional career is going to come to an end. There are lots of esports players that actually retire and become coaches, managers, mentors, and even shoutcasters. Shoutcasters is the equivalent of a commentator in cricket, and they try and train the next generation of esports professionals. One of the common ways that a lot of esports pros have actually taken to retirement is they've become a streamer. So, the likes of Ninja and Shroud and Dr. Disrespect. And in India, you have Mortal, and a lot of these guys, then, they don't play competitively to big audiences, but they still play casually and they entertain people. They become lifestyle gamers and they're able to earn like millions of dollars of money in terms of doing that. So just like the sports industry, esports also has like players, and there are coaches, and then there are contracts that they get signed to, and if people want to kind of buy out, they can buy out the entire team. Then there is support staff, there's analysts, analysts that help you analyze your gameplay. And because it's such a data heavy sport, so you really need a good analyst who can help you become better. Then you also have psychologists that help you in dealing with this stressful career that is esports. And then contrary to the perception, guys, a lot of esports players actually live a very healthy and a regimented diet, right? A regimented life, and they follow a very focused diet, in the sense that everything is planned: what they're going to eat, when they're going to sleep, when they're going to train, what they're going to watch. So they also have like nutritionists and full-time chefs kind of telling them what needs to be done. And then the other last thing is that there are rule books that govern what kind of equipment you need to be able to play esport, whether it's a PC, console, or mobile. And then if you don't follow those rules, then of course there are fines and penalties. So yeah, so guys, the whole idea of this, these next few slides is that the whole esports industry is very much structured in a similar way to the sports industry. The money also comes in from sponsorship and media rights. There are more and more franchise leagues that are coming up in esports, like the Call of Duty League or the Overwatch League. Anybody has heard of the Call of Duty League or the League of Legends League as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
so these are very much built on the same, model as IPL or as the NBA. It's like fixed number of teams, and all of them, continue to play with each other. And then there are, national and international federations in esports. There is a national esports federation in India as well. Already, it's not recognized by the government, but soon it will be. And that is something where, the government is actually taking notice of what is happening in esports. So it's becoming more and more recognized. And if you see South Korea, or you see um, Ukraine, even the whole of Russia and Finland, a lot of these countries, esports is a recognized sport. Even in the UK, esport is a recognized sport. So what we think is that India will also soon recognize it. It's just doing its own research and trying to figure out how to kind of induct esport, but it's going to happen sooner or later. And then there are lots of player representation, associations which kind of look out for the young players, try and protect their interests and safeguard their rights. And then there is uh, esports teams have their own venues, which is again something similar to like how sports teams have their own stadiums. So they already have their own venues. They're now also getting gaming collab houses. Like you have a lot of the TikTokers in California have these big mansions where their goal is to go in and just create content and make it viral by the end of the day. So that's also something which esports teams do. And so one opportunity is to become an esports player, but the other opportunity is also to become a great content creator in esport. And so, guys, this is very important for you guys to kind of just pay attention to this, is to understand like that every game is not an esport. If I say Ludo King, it's not an esport. Okay. If I say Grand Theft Auto, it's not an esport. Now, the reason for that is there are thousands and thousands of video games, and then there are hundreds and hundreds of genres and subgenres. Uh, you have then the multiplayer video games, which is between two or more people. Then you have competitive multiplayer, which is playing with the intention of winning and not just for fun. And the ones that are actually broadcasted on live streaming platforms like YouTube gaming actually become esports. So while video games would be like more than 1,000, esports is just 30 esports titles. So the next question that you guys might ask is, okay, so how does one video game qualify as an esports title? So there are 4 factors how that happens. These are called SCAR factors: skill, community, accessibility, and reward. Skill in the sense that it must be based on skill. You and I have to work hard, train hard, and become better at the game. It can't be like a Ludo King where I throw the dice and it's based on random chance. Second is community. The publisher and the fans must create conversation, must create tournaments, competition, and a whole community must exist so that the whole esport title moves forward. Third is accessibility. It must be spectator friendly. If I can't watch it, it's not an esport. It must be accessible on PC, console, and mobile. And the last one is reward. A lot of players keep playing games for fun, but in the case of esport, people want to be rewarded by cash prizes and other rewards, and it's not just about having fun. So if any video game complies with these 4 factors, the SCAR factors, then it will be considered an esport title.